Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our daily gratitude call. Thank you for being here live. I want to welcome those who are here live and also those who are listening on the podcast. I appreciate you being here as well. I am always just amazed and grateful for all the people who choose to be here on a daily basis. I know that it's a commitment, and I just really appreciate the opportunity to spend this morning with you. Every morning with you, and to learn and grow from this time that we have together. The word that came to me as we were kind of doing some shares before we started the recording was compassion. Gratitude for compassion. And we're going to do a 90-second private silent meditation. I'm going to just set my timer here for 90 seconds. And just invite you to write down whatever comes to you. Just really have your heart and mind open to listen for thoughts and ideas, and don't judge anything that comes. Just write it down exactly as it comes to you, and we'll just see where that takes us. So 90 seconds private silent meditation on gratitude for compassion. Begin. All right. Really memory that I have not thought of forever. I've actually gone back to this memory a few times with breakthrough situations, where I'm really stuck on a limiting belief or something, and just listening for where it came from. And I've gone back to this. It's such a silly memory, that's just like was a moment in time. And it's just amazing to me how those moments in time decisions can be made about ourselves, and we live our lives. We have patterns that repeat themselves based on these limiting beliefs that are created in a moment. I was just in church, and it was after church was over, and my mom had told me to go get my dad and tell him that we needed to go home. And but there was a rule in my house that you don't interrupt your elders. And I went to tell my dad that my mom had said to come, and I was probably about 8 years old, something like that. And he was talking with a woman in church. It was after church was over, we were getting ready to go, and they were just standing in the foyer and chatting, and my dad was talking, and I just stood there. I remember standing there with my hands behind my back, just looking at my dad and like waiting for him to take a breath so that I could deliver the message that I was sent to deliver. And he never did. He just like was talking. And then my mom came over and got mad at me for not telling my dad. And there was just like this conflict going on inside of my head, of not knowing when to talk and when not to talk. And, it's not okay to interrupt your elders and all of those. And it was funny, to me that memory came back up again. And feeling compassion for my parents. I'm feeling myself getting emotional right now, because I also remember a time when I was really frantic and just feeling helpless with my daughter, a choice that she was making. And it's like, no, don't make that choice. And I just was feeling frantic and helpless and worried about this choice that she was making. And I'm sure that my beliefs, that I know that I was trying to push my beliefs onto her, that this is the way things should be. You should make this decision. This is the way you're going to be happiest, or whatever. And I just have to look at that experience, and hopefully it feels very healing to be able to look at my parents and just kind of shake my head and just say, you poor things, you just didn't know what you were doing to your kids. And I have that compassion for myself as well as a parent, that you poor thing, you just don't know what you're doing to your kids when you're trying to push your beliefs onto them. So I'm just really grateful to have had this opened up to me. Who else has something that they would like to share?
So I've been trying to process my path of integrity, and I started reading your book again, The Seven Gateways.
Mm-hmm.
And just reading through the stories that you have at the beginning, I realized that I did a lot of those same things that I don't know why it took me this long to understand, and I had to read it the second time to get it. But I realized that part of the reason that I have my confidence as a mother has suffered so much is because as a child, I learned to place my value in myself on how much I helped other people and how much I accomplished and how I was performing well. So whether it was in school and getting good grades, or helping other people to feel good about themselves, or like gaining skills like lifeguarding, or as a missionary for my church, and really just teaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, I put my value on what I did and how I helped other people. And so as a parent, a lot of the times then how you're helping other people is not apparent, because it doesn't
APP.
show, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Because you're working on your own junk as you try to teach these little children, and you don't know what you're doing. I didn't anyway. And so now my children are 9, 7, 5, 3, and 1, and I feel like I'm finally starting to figure it out. And anyway, so I just realized that I can have compassion for myself in the error and in the counterfeits in my thinking, and that Heavenly Father is leading me down this path, and He has compassion for me. He knows that I'm trying my best, and that helps me to have compassion for myself.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you so much. And, I'm sure that as you're reading this the second time, I know I've read books multiple times, certain books multiple times, and every time I'm getting something new and different, and the words haven't changed in the book, but you have changed. And so you're seeing things differently. So yeah, super powerful to do that. I think as parents, when we are like applying our value to how well we do something, our kids really suffer because, then when we're in that space, then it's basically however my kids act or what they do, or the results that are being manifested are such a reflection, I think, on myself and who I am and what other people maybe see us as or whatever, see me as. But really, we all are on our separate paths, and God's guiding each one of us, even our little 1-year-old child. God's helping to guide that little child too. Thank you. Who else?
Well, I thought about the word compassion itself, and I being grateful that I can give and receive compassion. And I had always, that was my first thought. But then as I'm thinking about the word compassion, it actually means passion with. Com means
With
like
passion.
communication, and it's passion with. And so, yeah, it's not a gift, right? It's not a, it's an it's an expression of our wholeness, our oneness, and our together, how we're together in 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 everything.
The word with. Yeah, I see
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and that really makes sense, because when I have compassion, there is really a coming together, isn't there?
Yeah.
With compassion, it's like one heart. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one place we don't have boundaries is, in love.
Yeah,
In the love of
beautiful.
our hearts.
Love that. Thank you. Thank you. Who else?
I'll share.
Thanks, Deepti.
So, I think humanity's collective mission in the cosmos lies in the practice of compassion. So, if we just look at someone, and like, compassion does not mean looking down on someone and pitying them, what they're going through, but if we try to identify with their suffering, share that suffering, and the very act of relieving, trying in your own way of relieving them of suffering is going to help each one of us as a whole, as a society. So if we keep showing compassion to one human, we are all going to walk towards the path of truth, towards the path of God, and I think that's compassion.
Wow, beautiful. I love that distinction, that, because a lot of times when we think about compassion, it's like, oh, I have compassion on that person, so because they're so worse off than I am or whatever, sort of looking down on that person. But I love that idea of compassion, like Laura said, that's coming together, really feeling their suffering instead of like seeing their suffering as something that I can maybe help or whatever. It's like really feeling their suffering and understanding on more of a level of oneness, what is really needed in that situation. Wow, that's a very much a higher level of thinking. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts?
I'll just add on one more thing is when you are showing compassion, you can show compassion only because you are in an expanded state of life already, because you've gained that knowledge through whatever, or you are spiritually awakening, and so when you show compassion, you are expanding the other person's life state, and you're expanding your own life state by expanding their life state also.
Wow, beautiful. Yeah, we really have to enlarge ourselves to feel charity, true charity, that pure love. We have to expand ourselves. We have to open ourselves to be able to feel that. And that's very true, that the vibration, the energy that we have within us must be like rub off on other people. So if we expand our state to allow that, then we're going to expand others that way too. Thank you. Let's go ahead and just shift over into our permission process. I'm just going to invite you all to take a deep breath. Invite us all to take a deep breath. And maybe in this moment, just take that kind of cue from Deep Tea to really expand your state, to allow yourself to be filled with charity, filled with compassion for yourself, this coming together, one heart, wholeness, and bringing Christ into it as well. That's where this pure love comes from his light, his love, and just allowing yourself to be filled with compassion, with empathy, with charity, pure love of Christ. And appropriate because, as I mentioned before, there's a certain part of being compassionate that is yours, that is ours each individually, and there's a certain part that belongs to others, and there's another part that belongs only to God and to Christ. And to be open to know, just expanding yourself to be filled with the compassion and the pure love that is yours to give and to feel. And how much further, how much more expansive we can be when we let go of everything that doesn't belong to us and just allow ourselves to be filled with that love that is ours to give. And the first question I have for you is, what is the one most important thing that you could do today to really express yourself in this full measure of compassion? What's the one, just the thing that comes to you? Just don't try to figure it out or find something to do. There are lots of things that could be done, but God knows exactly the one thing that would be the most fulfilling for you and that would be the most allow you to be able to share in your most perfect way. Compassion. What is the one most important thing that you could do today? What's your inspired shortcut to expressing this full measure of compassion and charity and love that you're feeling right now? This oneness, wholeness. And then what's the limiting belief that's coming up for you as you are considering taking action on this inspired shortcut? What's your limiting belief? And since you know what your next step is, and you've got this limiting belief, this hurdle to overcome before you can take action on that inspired shortcut, what's the cost of that limiting belief? If you hold on to it, how will that affect your ability to be in this expanded state of compassion and to be able to serve in a way that is purely from the heart with passion? And that cost, you get to make a choice now. You know what this limiting belief has been doing for you. That's been, and what it will create for you if you hold on to it. And so now is the moment of choice. You get to choose, do I want to keep that limiting belief, or do I want to give myself permission to choose a new belief? And if you're ready to step into choosing a new belief, say yes.
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 Awesome. So then go ahead and choose some new beliefs. What are 2 or 3 new beliefs that will take the place of that old limiting belief and will allow you to move forward with your inspired shortcut, maybe even give you more power, empower you to be able to take that inspired shortcut? Maybe the thought that came to you of what to do today is a little bit, fearful to you, or just inviting you to step outside of your comfort zone or do something that's a little bit uncomfortable. So what new beliefs will really bring in that passion with that wholeness, that oneness of heart, that feeling of charity and confidence in moving forward and knowing that that you're acting out of pure love? What are the new beliefs that will support you in taking action on this inspired shortcut? And I invite you to look over this list of new beliefs and bring those into your heart and allow these new beliefs to help you become a new person. And just as Tyree was talking earlier about how she was reading a book and feeling differently about it, that just bringing these new beliefs into your heart are allowing you to become a new person. And that anything that has happened in the past, any judgment that you've maybe had about yourself in the past, to have compassion on yourself for choices that you've made in the past before you knew to create these new beliefs. So now that this limiting belief was exposed and you created some new beliefs, that you are becoming a new person, that you're moving forward today as a new person, more whole, more complete, more open, more charity, more love, and just have compassion for yourself in the past. In a moment, I'm going to open it up for some shares. And I would like to also invite anyone, if you're struggling at all with this area, I would love to help you to be able to find that compassion that maybe you're struggling with, or that charity, or that oneness of heart, whatever it is that you're needing some extra support with, feeling stuck. And all you have to do to schedule a call with me is go to askwylene.com, and that will take you directly to my calendar, and you can schedule a 15-minute call. It's a free mentoring session, and would love to have that conversation with you. Who has something that they would like to share today about your experience?
I have one more thing. Something that I realized just while we were doing this is when I am basing my worth off of what I am producing for other people, then when people give me compliments in truth and in sincerity, I do not receive them. Like my sister told me yesterday that I am so charismatic and that people are drawn to me. And I just kind of laughed it off, like, oh yeah, well, of course you think that, you're my sister, sort of a thing. But I realized that I didn't receive that fully because of judging myself. So when I'm in a place of compassion for myself, then I receive the compliments that people give in truth.
Beautiful. The thought came to me, and maybe this is a new belief that you could receive as well. I see the truth about myself. I feel like that, really, if that's true, then we really do see ourselves through the eyes of Christ, because that really is what the highest truth is. Beautiful. Thank you, Tyree. Anybody else?
Yeah, I have.
Laura?
Yeah, so one of my inspired shortcut is to do a video on Leila's restoration, and that's a whole subject in and of itself. But what came up, the limiting belief is that it's not worth it because no one cares to hear what I have to say. No one cares. And immediately this, you talk about things that seem inconsequential at the time, but weren't. There was a film, the real film, right, in 6th grade that I don't know what possessed my teacher to show us this. I went to a horrible school in Detroit. In this film, it begins, and I remember the whole thing, with a school bus stopping on a residential street in the wintertime. And kids are pouring off the bus and laughing and talking and jostling. And then this child comes off very sluggish, and he collapses in the snow, dead. And the whole rest of the film is what happened to this child. And what happened is that no one cared. And just talking about it, I get completely transported back to this child in this film, and I was that child. I identified so strongly with this boy, and the whole rest of the film is they're interviewing people, and these people are like, oh yeah, I kind of remember him. Yeah, he was like, yeah, I didn't really notice. Like nobody noticed, nobody cared. And he died because of it. And that was just shocking to me. And, you know, at the time, I just needed that compassion, right? For what I was going through, and no one cared about what I was going through. No one knew, but I was 11. I didn't know that, you know. But anyway, it's that no one heard my cries for help then, so why would they hear me now, right? And the beautiful thing is that this can be completely, not just, it's just, my word this week is transcend. It can be completely transcended into, I have compassion to heal the world. I noticed the one in my entire life. My entire life was to make sure that no one around me ever felt like that child, like I felt, and like that boy felt in that film. And it wasn't even real, but you know, and what a beautiful thing. I became the hero for everyone around me because I never wanted anyone to feel like that.
Wow, thank you, Laura. And I know we've worked together. I'm actually seeing like connecting the dots of why you're a genius at helping people launch their books. But I mean, that's totally how you got into that, right? Because you want to make sure that everybody else's story gets told, because how important that is for them to feel like somebody cares. And it is time right now for you to write your own story.
I know.
And that I love the opposite ends of the spectrum. No one cares, and feeling compassion for everyone. It's like, I feel compassion for everyone. That's why I have to do this. That's, oh my gosh, it's total amazing.
There's so much there.
There's so much there. We could go off, but we're not going to.
No.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Kathy, we got one last comment before we end our call. Thank you.
I was just going to comment. I saw that show too in school, and I remember the name of it was Cipher in the Snow, and it had a profound effect on me as well. So looking back, is like, I don't know why they showed it either. It just, the first,
maybe to spark compassion, maybe to help people understand the results of not caring.
Right.
Kathy, I can't believe that. Go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, I remember that distinctly, Cipher in the Snow, because I think that a lot of people related to it on one end or the other. And I think it was the first trying to prevent bullying and noticing other people. And it's interesting that it had a profound effect on us. I wonder how many other people were affected by it as well. But
yeah, what did you think it was called? What did you say?
It's called Cipher, CYF or PHER, Cipher in the Snow.
Really? Because I have remembered it silent in the snow. Huh. It's so interesting. But I could have remembered it completely wrong. So yeah, wow.
I have to look that up. Now that we've talked about it so much, maybe one of you guys ought to post it on the Facebook group if you can find it, like on YouTube or something. Post it in the Breakthrough with Gratitude group.
Yeah, she's right. It's Cipher in the Snow. Oh my gosh.
Cool. Okay, awesome. I just want to make one comment on what Kathy said, and then we'll go ahead and end our call. Thank you so much, everybody, for what's been shared. She mentioned about bullying, and it's interesting, you know, back in the 60s, there was capital punishment. You know, you'd go to the principal's office and you get a whipping, at least the school I went to. Anyway, if you did anything like that, you know, any kind of bullying. But it's interesting that she would talk about bullying with regard to this show, because it was just total ignoring, and how powerful of, you know, it's the opposite of just totally ignoring someone and not caring is compassion. that if ignoring, and we know that with babies, right, that it can cause death. It literally just, your life is nothing. But compassion feels like it's on the opposite end of the spectrum, and how much life that we can give physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, when we really truly have that oneness of heart and feel true compassion and charity for someone. What a beautiful thought. Well, thank you all for everything that has been shared. This has been an awesome call. This has been an awesome week. I encourage you to take action on that inspired shortcut that you received, and would love to continue our conversations on the Breakthrough with Gratitude group. So, feel free to share there as much as you'd like. We'd love to continue interacting there. And we will be back together tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So we'll talk to you then. Thank you. Invite people to come too. Feel our compassion here. Thank you.
Thanks, you
Yes,
guys.
love you. Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.